evening, and welcome to the Best Overall Show. My name's Cass.
I'm
This is
Joe.
Joe. And Noah is busy, but he's here. So we'll just the man that needs no introduction.
He'll be back
Joe,
shortly.
he will be. Joe, how the hell are you, my friend? I missed you.
I missed you too, man. I haven't done nearly as much exciting stuff as you guys did, but we just got back from our family vacation. We did a circle tour around Lake Superior, which involved traveling into Canada, which was
Nice. You
interesting.
dipped into my country.
Got a couple loonies for the ride home. Um, is A&W just like a huge thing up there?
Okay, so A&W, this is funny, and I'm gonna get into
I,
it.
I was shocked at how many A&Ws there were.
So A&W in Canada is a completely separate, and I know this because they were my customer at one point, is a completely separate legal entity than A&W in the U.S. So A&W in the U.S. just makes the root beer for the most part, and like they had their thing. And in Canada, they were like, "This is a great idea. We want to buy this." So at one point, they were one company, but like the Canadian entity became its own thing, and it's actually one of the best fast food joints. Like I literally had it for dinner last night when I flew in at 10 o'clock, and it was by choice. Like we missed it.
Wow.
But yeah,
You
there's a
get the
lot
chicken
more A and
strips?
W's. No, because we have different things. It's a different
Well,
restaurant.
that's what I got at the one in
You got the
Canada.
chicken strips.
Yeah.
I get the spicy habanero chicken burger. That's my jam.
Whoa.
Oh, she's tasty. But yeah, the root beer is still the whole shtick, but like it's a very different beast.
No
Corporate
salt
from a
on the
corporate.
fries, though. Very strange.
I
It
think
was
that
like,
might have just been a boo boo. They
oh,
salt the fries.
oh, okay. Yeah, it was like eating a baked potato.
Wild, wild. Well, that's I'm glad that you got to experience Canadian A&W.
hmm I'm also a year behind everybody and just beat Baldur's Gate 3 finally.
Oh yeah, good man, good man.
Yeah.
Well, you also have a really busy life, Joe, so we'll forgive you.
Well, I'd get all the way into like chapter 2 and lose interest, and that happened 3 times, and then this was the time where I actually stuck to it and got all the way.
So what was the like class that got you through?
Oh, fighter, man. Just so like I was trying all sorts of things, just trying to be like next level techie. I was like, I'm just gonna play a fighter. It's unstoppable with the number of attacks that you can
Yeah.
get, like getting hasted,
Oh
action
yeah.
surge. I mean, it's just
Beast mode.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Beast mode.
So that was awesome. I killed that stupid dragon in one round at the very end.
Yeah,
Screw
the
that
fighter
guy.
is a beast, man. The
Yeah.
fighter is a beast.
But yeah, it was good times. The nether brain has been fully assimilated to serve ball now
Oh, all right.
because my
Okay.
because my drow girlfriend told me to do so.
I mean, yeah. We've all we all love a hot goth queen, don't we?
Yeah. What do you got going on?
Well, I literally just came like Sharon and I got in last night around 10 o'clock. Just went and picked my dog up from my parents' place earlier today. It's my last day of vacation, so like work starts tomorrow, but it's kind of the just check emails and clear all that stuff out kind of day. I have been away for like 16 days, which is wild. So
Ow.
went to WTC, was coaching for Team Canada, and we're gonna get into it. But honestly, like singularly, one of the best experiences of my life. I am so addicted to WTC. I will be back. Maybe not next year because I'm getting married. But honestly, fiance was like, "Stop telling people that you're not going," and I was like, "I love you," but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it was just a really, really cool experience. So spent about a week in Mechlin. Did a 1 day trip to Cologne with one of my fellow coaches from Team Canada and my fiance to go and see the most 40K looking building I've ever seen in my life, which is this giant cathedral in Cologne, Germany.
Ah.
Then came back to Mechlin, did WTC, did that whole thing. And then afterwards, we went on a whole trip through Belgium and France and ended with like 6 days in Paris. I'm very relaxed
Holy
right
crap.
now. Yeah, it was awesome.
I don't think I've ever been away from my house for more than 16 days.
It was the longest I've been away in like my adult life for sure. It
Wow.
felt good. I needed it. I was really burnt out in like a lot of ways. But yeah, so I mean, talk to me next week when work has fully started. But you
Do
know,
you feel rested at this point, or are you still super screwed up with your sleep?
honestly, like I feel pretty okay. I probably could use a shot of espresso right now, but hey, it's what it is. Yeah, no, I think I was so stressed out before, like with everything leading up to it. I was really busy. I was part of two wedding parties. Work was escalating and getting more busy, and so I got like more responsibilities, and so just like the build up to this was so stressful that I've been so relaxed especially over the last week and a bit that like yeah, I feel great. Very well rested.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Do we want to get started here?
Let's do it.
All right. I don't think there's much for hobby progress, despite us being gone for like a month. But
I'm so excited to paint though. I will say that. Like I've got Magnus, I've got two Warp Beasts, I've got Arman on my table, and I'm like, I dare say by the next time we go on air, I'll have some significant progress on those to show.
all right. Yeah, I didn't do too much. I just banged out some orcs. Yeah.
I'm also very excited to paint.
Oh, there he is.
I'm back.
Do you have a cat?
I have a cat. Yeah, he's alive. He's good.
Okay.
He's giving me a
Good
very
kitty.
like, why did you drop me off with these weirdos all day? Look.
Okay.
He's like
What is-
the saltiest old man. He's 18, right?
Wow.
So like he's in cat years, he's like literally like a grumpy old man, right? And he's literally looking at me like, you and I are gonna have words later.
What is cat years? Is that 6 or
I'll have to Google.
okay? But yeah,
I'll get
18.
back to you while
He's
you-
old enough to buy lottery tickets.
You walk us through your orcs, and I'll tell you how old my cat is in a sec.
Okay. Not much to say here. I have 10 boys to bulk my puny other 10-man squad up to 20. And then Big Mech with Shock Attack gun. This was when I was going to just start doing Dread Mob, and then I got very sidetracked. So
This is why you were asking about my green glow, wasn't it?
no. You'll see that later. Not today.
Cool. Cool. All right. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yep. Because yeah, it looks. I probably won't be playing orcs for the near future. So, well, I'm almost certainly not going to be playing orcs. So this is all just getting tabled for now. Kill can. These, despite not being very big, are kind of a pain in the ass to paint. I will say, because there are just a shit ton of like angles and levels, lots of edges to highlight.
Yeah.
So. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
and
Killican, that thing's not, that's not, it's like a little bigger than a Terminator. I can probably easily do one a day. No, not the case.
Yeah. That you're right. There's a lot of angles, edges, different material.
Yeah, it's
from
one of the
one
reasons
part
I
to
don't
another.
like painting knights that much, because they also have that same function, like especially on their sides and on their torso. There's just so much like surface area that's just a billion different pipes and metal plates, but yeah. Yeah, so yeah,
Great-
that's pretty much
great work
that's
as
all I have.
always.
That's all I have
So-
to do for last month.
Two things. One is, aren't you playing? Man, they might be tipping our hand, but aren't you playing orcs for Champs Cup?
No, sir.
What?
Yeah, as we discussed in the meeting, I was going to stick with Drakari
Oh,
because orcs have too many
I-
bad matchups.
really? I thought you had settled back to orcs. All right.
No. I was on that call, Noah.
Oh,
Joe
maybe
Joe is correct.
Maybe I'll do. Maybe I'll play orcs.
There you go.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, cool. Sick. Second thing is, my cat is 88 apparently.
Oh,
Wow.
damn.
Okay, you know what? He's allowed to be a grumpy old man at 88, I think.
Yeah. Apparently, you'll learn it here. The first year of a cat's life is equal to 15 years. The second is 9, and every consecutive one after that is 4.
Oh, interesting. So they have accelerated growth at the beginning.
Yeah, they like rapidly mature, and then like stable out. And
They're like
apparently,
clones from Star Wars.
yes. And apparently, the oldest recorded cat was in his 30s.
Wow.
Wow. Dang.
All right. Well, glad he's doing okay. What's his name?
Sheldon.
Sheldon the cat?
Yeah.
And is he a tabby?
No, he's a black and white kind of tuxedo.
Tuxedo.
Yeah,
It's like my
I think
dog.
that's. Yeah, he's it's black and white, kind of like he's not really a long hair and he's not really a short hair. He's like in the middle,
A medium hair.
medium hair. And he's like the only cat I've ever met who like he's got like human expressions. It's really weird.
Well, I mean, at 88, you will have grown that skill.
Yeah, for sure. This is a good cat. We got him. We got him the year that me and my wife got married, and he was 3, and we've been married 15 years.
Wow.
So,
Nice.
yeah, he's kind of the like if any of the I don't want any of my animals to die, but like if any of my other animals died, I would be sad. When Sheldon passes away, I will be like, bring me casserole at my house. I haven't left my room sad.
Yeah.
Noted. I am within driving distance, so.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, Joe. Hot dish. Pardon me.
Oh. Little Minnesota hat dish for you.
I love you, Mom. My wife's side of the family is from Minnesota,
Oh.
so we are a hot dish family for sure.
Well,
But
my
I like
wife is
spicy
also
food.
from Minnesota.
I like spicy food though, so it's like hot dish with actual seasoning though. That's the exception.
Is ranch the most favored condiment in your house?
No, we have weird. My no. I would say that it's for me. It tends to be like I'm a pretty big on like sriracha, horseradish, that kind of stuff. And my wife, she's always got like a weird like honey ladder.
Noah's Gillerfield's going down.
The demons are attacking.
Great. He sees the Astronomicon. All right. Let's get cracking here.
Sounds good. So, this was the day trip I took to Cologne, Germany. You can see me and my fiance Sharon in front of the most 40K looking building I've ever seen. This cathedral was insane. It took over 1,000 years to build, and it was wild. Like I'm not a religious person. I respect all religions. I respect the like, you know, the scale of achievement that can be done over the course of so many people dedicating themselves to something for 1,000 years. But yeah, truly breathtaking. Had a great time.
Wow. What's the name of this cathedral?
I think it's the Cologne Cathedral. I don't know. That's all I know.
Yeah, you can
sure
definitely see where they got inspiration for like the Sector Imperialis ruins, like the walls. It looks just like these windows.
100%. I could picture this on an Emperor Titan's shoulders and be like, yeah. That's terrifying. It was really cool. So spent the day there. It was a nice little day trip, but this was kind of like my warm up to WTC.
And we are being told that you are the man by Paddington.
Well, thank you, Paddington. I try.
Uh,
So this
I, I have a question about that church.
hit me.
I have a question about the church.
Sure.
This is like a theoretical thing. At what, like, how many years in do you think they actually started to like hold service in the church? Because like I know that there are churches in like the U.S., which obviously significant, like U.S. is only like is less than 300 years old or whatever. Like there are churches in the U.S. where they like started with like some benches out in the woods and like a tent over their head and like put some stones out to make the outline, and then over the course of years excavated and built the church. So like I'm
I
like,
think
how
that
many years into the 1,000 years did they hold service, do you think?
I honestly pretty early in, I think, because there was different sections of it, like it was built out and out, 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 out. So probably pretty early in.
All right, sweet. Yeah, that
That's
was just my,
my blind guess, but
like, it's weird to think that it could have been like a group of people sitting in the woods, like on some like like stumps doing their worship, and then like that's in the same place 1,000 years later they're in this is like amazing
massive.
Gothic ruin. Yeah.
I mean, it would have to start somewhere. That doesn't seem like far off. Yeah, Ben. So my good, lovely friend Ben McJurk. The idea that these were built generationally is wild because imagine how much dedication it takes to see something like that through, knowing you're not going to see even like your kids aren't even going to see the end of it. Crazy.
Yeah, can you imagine like being you're the Windows guy, and then you're like doing the second floor, and you're like, oh, what was this guy thinking like 400 years ago?
I will say it was like every aspect of it was just like the best craftsmanship available at the time because the church had money and the church had devout followers that would go and give their best. So all of the like the altars and the things inside were quite beautiful. I took a lot of pictures. I didn't want to like bombard us with that, but yeah, it was truly something. So glad I went, glad and got the experience, and like the inspiration for future 40K display tray type things. But I don't think any of my armies or display trays will make it to multi-generation, let alone 1,000 years. But you never know.
I was just going to say that the pictures can definitely be filed away for the next time we do a hobby inspiration episode.
Oh,
and
Hondobi.
and then the other one I was going to say is I feel like there are some people who paint their armies generationally.
Sorry.
For real. But yeah, so the day, like, we took a break the day after, because I wasn't going to bring my army, knowing how much of a trip I had after WTC and the fact that I was just coaching, not playing. I figured I'm not going to bring my army and play War Masters. So this was day 2 of War Masters. This was my kind of break day between that Cologne trip and, the actual event starting. So I poked my head into the hall, and you can see a lot of sweat already on my face. Necker Hall is a giant air hangar that's been converted into this stadium, and it is hot as balls in there. Like it was wild. Some of my smarter friends had neck fans, and that was very important. I wish I had one. I ordered it's one of the first things I did when I got back home is ordered a neck fan for the next event at a hot building. But yeah, it was massive. This doesn't even really get the scope of it, but just kind of had a walkabout, had some great conversations, caught up with some friends. Just doing what I do. But definitely was not sad to have missed War Masters. Just really was there soaking up the social scene.
Looks cool.
Yeah, it was. It was. And then this is Team Canada kind of, I think right before round one. Yeah, because I see a Latvian jersey in the background there, which is who we face round one. So this is myself and the lovely team. Honestly, like, what a great group of dudes. I had a really good time. It's funny because I don't get to spend a lot of time with these guys in person. Like, honestly, I see Noah more in person, even though we technically live in different countries. But Noah is also a 3-hour drive from me, whereas most of these guys are like a 5-hour flight for me. So it was kind of cool to actually get to like put faces to names and you know, like, instead of just them being a TTS handle, right? And really get to know people through the sort of gauntlet that is WTC. And yeah, again, just kind of getting ready. That's me and Francois chatting. Him and I were more or less like attached at the hip because I was the main Space Marine coach. And I knew that list inside out and backwards. He kept joking that like he was very comfortable if he got injured, knowing that I was there to play the army. I'm like, I didn't get as many reps as you did, bro. I mean, I know how it works, but like, I did not get the reps in. But yeah, just I think this was round one. We'll get into the specifics of how different rounds went later on. But like, just honestly, it was such a great great experience with each team, and like, I'm sure Noah can kind of chime in and would likely agree. But every like team round you did was different. It was so hyped, and I have my own perspective from being a coach rather than playing. Like, it was hard because you're not allowed to really like say a lot to the players, and if you do say anything at the table, there's very clear rules that it has to be in English and it has to be perfectly audible to the other player. So like, if I'm asking for my player for an update, like, hey, how do you think this is going? We had these really like funny little charts of like the different scores, and like, I don't know, let me cook, etc. That like, I would walk up with my binder and people would point to like, let me cook, or like, come back in 5 minutes, or it's gonna be a 20 or a 2, you know. And so we're not supposed to hide that from the other players. So you're kind of dealing with like limited information, and there's a lot of stress in dealing with the entire round rather than just one game, but having zero control over it. It was an interesting sort of angle to approach Warhammer from. It was new for me. And then Team Canada in the War Room. We had booked the hotel conference room for like a couple days, and this was us going through our pairings. And yeah, like, we did the whole day, but then every night after the rounds, we came back. We grabbed a quick dinner, ate, and then came back into this room. I gotta say, I really appreciated from leadership setting the tone of like, hey guys, we're here to have fun, but we're also here to do a job. So it's kind of going to be like work. And yeah, everyone showed up. Like, every player, all the support staff, everyone was really, professional, I will say. And I really appreciated that about the experience. Of course,
how'd you guys do against Latvia?
We did pretty well. I don't remember the exact score, but we did win that first round quite decidedly. Me and Richards, the head coach for Latvia, became buds. We were like, I want to say 4 or 5 shots deep by the end of the round. We were having a great time too.
Bro, let's just take a moment to shout out Latvia. We play Latvia too, and me and Richard at that point became like best friends forever.
Oh yeah, I love this man. This guy's a G. You can see the difference in size, and we jersey swapped. So like, I was like, you know what? You're gonna just be a goal. This is gonna be a goal jersey for me. I'm wearing my team New Zealand jersey right now, not my Latvian one, because I'm not at that goal yet. But yeah, no, he was an absolute gem, and we had a great time with that round. Like, everyone was awesome. Every player on their team was awesome. Nothing bad to say.
Do you like order a bunch of extra jerseys to trade with people?
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Although you do just like there's a mix. Some people it's like, okay, just take the one off my back and trade it. I was smarter than that and often brought a non-sweaty one to like give to my opponent. Um, but yeah, I think we had like 8 jerseys going in and swapped a bunch of them. I mean, at the end, I even swapped for a couple teams that I didn't play against. My good friend Eric Forsman and I swapped, so I have a Team USA one. Very cool, very cool. But yeah, Latvia was definitely a great round. Great, like, I think this was their first year, and they, Rehards and I were talking a lot about just pairing strategy after the round, obviously. Pairing strategy, how Team Canada was tracking the round. I showed him our tracker. Actually, I owe him a chat. He was like poking me a couple days ago. I'm like, I am traveling 17 hours to get home. I will talk to you when I'm home. So I owe him a WhatsApp message. But great dude, great round. And then round 2, we played Singapore, Thailand. So this is Pichichai. I actually had met him at WCW last year, and we played at the final round. So it was like really cool to reconnect with a friend I had made through Warhammer from like the other side of the world. It's the coolest part of this goddamn hobby that I love so much. Is like, oh, hey, you're my buddy from another event I played like a year ago. So he was on the Singapore Thailand team. These guys were killers. Ash was their team captain. She was an absolute beast. She like dummied some of the best players in the world. Pumbaa, I believe it was, from Team Poland, got like mutilated by her. She was playing Francois from our team. Excellent player. And she was like, I'm going to beat you so hard. And then proceeded to follow up on her threats.
Wow.
It was amazing. They gave us a serious sweaty round. We did still beat them, but they ended up placing higher than us, I think, overall in the event. They got best newcomer. Like, they won an award. I was thoroughly impressed with this team. Really nice people, too. Great round.
What was she playing?
Sisters. Sisters. And it was very, like... I don't remember the list offhand, but I can send it to you if you're keen. It was very vehicle heavy, I remember.
Okay.
And yeah, she just like had this marine killing beast of a list. It was impressive. This is myself, my fiance, and Noah. I think I forget which night this was. It wasn't the last night because Sharon did not come out on the last night. I think it was the second to last night. But we ran into Noah at Bar Popular, which is the place to be. Had some drinks and had to snap a selfie. I did want to give a shout out to John from, I think, Tabletop Live, not War Games Live. Tabletop Live, which is a Canadian streaming YouTube channel. He and his wife Erica were there streaming almost the entire time, the Canadian games. So it was nice. It made it so we actually kind of had a home base in the hangar. And we had a stream going for most of our rounds. Awesome guy, very, very cool setup. Was definitely great to get to know him because, again, being in Western Canada, I'm kind of like out of the main bubble of Central Canada where a lot of these guys that are part of Team Canada play. And I think for me, that was like, it was really cool to be able to represent the West a little bit in terms of just being a part of the team, but understand Central Canada a little bit better, get to know the people and get to know their streamers too. So really cool. I'm definitely gonna be harassing him to come out to the West Coast as well and stream some stuff out our way, but wanted to give him a little shout out.
You do look like you're about to challenge him to a duel in that photo, though.
I'm always ready to challenge. I'm always ready to challenge anyone in a duel. No, I think this was. I think this must have been our round against Italy because Tim was on stream. I think I was just making sure everyone had water, to be honest, because it was like it was hot, man. Like I'm not kidding, and especially in the corner that we were in, there was no cross breeze, there was nothing, and
Man.
I just like I always said it at the beginning of the round because basically we were fortunate enough to have enough coaches that I kind of got assigned 2 tables at any given round. Hey, Cass, you're watching these two. And I would just introduce myself to the opponent too and say, listen, I'm here. Like, I'm going to be grabbing him water. Let me know if you need anything. And it was just like making sure people were hydrated and not, dying was important. So I think that's what you're seeing is like, I'm like, hey, you got water? And Tim was also one of 2 of our players that it was like, just keep feeding him Red Bulls. Just as long as he has a Red Bull, he will keep scoring points. And honestly, very true. Um, if this is the one I think it was, he really pulled out some points by doing a secret mission, which was a big theme.
Shit.
Secret missions were huge at WTC.
What faction was he playing?
Tim was playing Eldar, which
Oh.
not a good faction, but I am like he is a faction specialist, and he did way better than he had any business doing with them. Like Eldar are not good at the moment; they are not in a good place. But hey, man, Tim scored the points. Tim scored the points.
Ow.
But yeah, secret missions. Who knew? And then me and my buddy Rehards. And then the Team Canada official photo. We're all cheering, and then we had the whole extended team as well. It was awesome, such a great experience, and I gotta say, you see my boy Zach, who's got the yellow Crocs on. Watching this man be entirely comfortable the whole time inspired me, and I may have ordered blue Crocs. So thanks, Zach, for the inspo.
Ooh. I am also an owner of Blue Crocs.
Good man. Good man. So I finally crossed over into Croc life.
Yeah, my first pair too for Father's Day.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've got a very comfortable pair of like olive drab Crocs, but they have a fur lining. They have like an inlining that is very comfortable.
All right, well, we got to wear our Crocs to Champs Cup then.
Oh my god, I got Croc bling too. If you need some bling, got some
I
Croc
might need
bling.
some bling.
Oh, what are those called? Those have a name.
I don't know, but I have like Superman and shit all over mine.
All right, Noah.
Yeah. All right, Mexico. I'm going to first say that Team Mexico was amazing. Being part of this experience was one of the coolest things I've ever done in 40K. Easy. But it was really cool to be part of Team Mexico's first go at the WTC. I got to see them storm and form, figure things out. I try to not be like an overt presence because like I was the 8th guy that filling out the roster. But they really made me feel like part of the crew.
So can I quickly interject here?
Yeah, of course.
So that second day of War Masters, when I was just kind of floating around, bought my Wayland Yutani like set of terrain to be able to practice WTC back home. I'm sitting there and I'm chatting with a guy that I don't know who's wearing a Team Mexico jersey. So I introduced myself, and I was like, "Oh, like I'm Noah's one of my best friends, blah blah." And it turns out it was Sebastian who was the captain, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he stops me and he's like, Noah is amazing. Noah is like, he's making us so good, and I'm so happy, and I love Noah, and we had a big loving for you. But it was very obvious that you had been very impactful and very appreciated. There was a lot of love for Domo.
That energy out of like Team Mexico as like out of them as like people was really awesome. Like beginning to end. They have a guy named Geronimo who was like a wizard. He didn't come, but he's like a software engineer, so he like developed a bunch of like automated matrix tools and stuff that we could do. Like we could find out what our matchups were, and immediately like populate that into like a Google form, and then we would do all of our estimates via Google form, and that data would be automatically integrated into our matrix. And then there was like a fill out as you go during our pairing that like showed your estimated scores and all this stuff. He wrote all that. He was amazing. Every member of the team was super cool. And I'll say like their logo and their jerseys, in my opinion, were the best this year for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely one that I was sad I did not get a swap for.
Well, I can just order you one. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
All right.
I would love one.
This is also the same thing I freehanded on that Knight's shoulder. There's the team that was that was actually like the last night. So this is kind of a reverse order. That was like after everything was done and we were finally settled down. In the evening, we had these two coaches from USA. So we didn't actually have any coaches. That was one. Well, we had one. We had Mathieu, who was from France, who was helping out. He was very familiar with pairings, so he was teaching them how to do pairings. But we didn't have like any like support staff style coaches. So we got two coaches from you. We went over and asked USA. They had two guys who were new in the team who wanted experience. So they came over and just partnered up with us as of our New Zealand round, which was round two. And they just like hung out with us all weekend. We got them jerseys. They were part of the team. At one point, uh, I love them. They were very patient with me because at one point I was talking to one of them and I was like, it was really hot where we were, and I was playing a game. I'm playing a very intense game, and I was like, "Hey, man, can you please bring me infinite water?" And he went and brought me 2 cups of water, and I immediately pounded them and be like, "More, please." And he got give me a weird look, and he comes back, and I brought him back, and I pounded him. I was like, "More, please." He's like, "You were not joking," and it reminded me of like the Ron Swanson meme, where he's like, "I'm afraid what you heard was bring me a lot of bacon and eggs, but what I said was bring me all of your bacon and eggs." Dude, it was really great. It was a very cohesive group. This is us drinking a lot of tequila. Um, from what I understand, and beer. From what I understand, Team Mexico brought 14 bottles of tequila with them from the homeland. We gave one to each of our. We gave one to most of our teams we played against. We drank all the rest, and by the end of the day on Saturday, there was no tequila left.
Wow.
I showed up when I got off the plane after like a million years of travel. I showed up to Bar Popular, and before I had sat down, I was 4 shots in on tequila.
Yeah, Bar Popular was a dangerous place to be.
Very dangerous. All right, what's next? This is me literally sitting in an alley at a restaurant having a quiet meal by myself on like maybe I think it was. It wasn't. I don't think it was Sunday. It was Saturday or Sunday. I like snuck out kind of at one point. Like I guess as soon as the event got done, I packed my stuff up, or as soon as the round for the day got done, I packed my stuff up, and I like just pieced out and went and sat in this like there's a restaurant, but all the seating is in an alley because it's a very small restaurant. And so I literally just like sat in this alley and drank a Belgian beer and ate a delicious beef stew and chilled quietly like and like faced in a way where if people walked by me they wouldn't notice me if they didn't really know me, and I just quietly just like I didn't even look at my phone really. I just jived out, just sat in
Yeah.
this place
Yeah, the social battery burns out real quick at WTC,
real
I gotta
fast
say. Like, there's a lot of condensed socialization, I would say.
for sure. The Belgian beer was delicious.
Oh, but sweating it out the next morning hurts. I drank a lot of Belgian beer. It hurt.
All the more reason to stay hydrated.
Amen, brother.
More venture out in the town, shots. That's just we were out at Bar Popular living it up.
As you do. And I honestly, I love the way that this photo is taken because this is probably what it would look like if you were actually there. Blurry. That's how I remember Bar Popular anyway.
Are people just
Absolutely.
standing out in the street?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
Joe.
okay.
It was like when the last night after everything was said and done, Team Canada had team dinner, lovely team dinner, and then we were going like Sharon and I were going to join everyone at Bar Popular, and you're in this like tiny little medieval ass looking alley, and you get to the opening where all of this is happening, and there was like 200 people. Like, it was insane. It was just like a wall of bodies, and I look at my fiance, and she has this look on her face, and I was just like, you don't have to come if you don't want to. And she was just like, God. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because that whole area got a lot more packed than this photo.
I would say 200 is a very conservative estimate.
Wow.
Very conservative.
That's just me. This is just another selfie. I did like data dump you like everything I had from that period of time. Some of it's not as relevant. Again, that was like the area Bar Popular was before it filled up. Okay, so this is the team. This is us like sitting around at one of our pairings. Like everyone kind of like, it was a nice vibe. Like, so it was kind of cool when we show up in the morning, or let's say right after we got our, after we eaten, we'd kind of all like mosey over to the pod. Then everyone would start setting up tables. And kind of we had like a principle that we set up most of the tables at our matchups. So we had this principle that like everyone just goes and sets up one table, and then you're done. So we would all just like mosey over and just set up tables, and then we would like coalesce at the pairings table, just like a raid in like solidarity behind Matthew and Sebastian, and then I helped with some of the pairings. And it was kind of a nice like, you'd like walk over and you'd quietly have this like Zen time to set up the table where everyone would not really be talking, just like setting up the table and focusing. And then everyone would come to the middle, and as you came to the middle, the chatter would start up a little, and then the pairings would start and everyone would hush. And then it was like game time. It was a really nice feel. Okay, so we played Norway. One of the coolest things about this whole event was just playing all these different groups and teams. I want to give some perspective here. I am 5'11 and a half. Okay. Well, this is Lasse. Lasse is the head coach of Norway. He is slouching because if he were standing straight up, he wouldn't be able to actually like have his arm that way on me. There would be like a space. So he is slouching, and his head is almost an entire ruler, like 12 inches in length, right? That is a foot of head, right? This man is an easy, like 10 inches taller than me,
Wow.
right? And broader than I am. And we traded shirts, and I felt so small compared to him.
I feel like I don't feel like that's a feeling you often have, and I feel like you're giddy with like I've not seen your face look like that.
I was laughing so hard. It was ridiculous. I felt so insignificant beside him. He was really, really gentle, nice, soft-spoken, kind dude. Very smart, very knowledgeable of the game. Great coach. Awesome to play against him and his team. Fantastic. We lost to Norway by a point. They were fantastic.
Oh, dang.
Wow. Yeah, those rounds get tight.
Oh yeah. So I took a bunch of pictures on my, like, I'm doing good. I take a bunch of like videos for my family and stuff that I posted on TikTok. It's like, this is Domo, and this is a picture from one of them. It's Domo found a giant. He thinks I'm gingerbread.
Send help.
Then I took some cathedral pictures too. This is the cathedral tower there in Mechelen. That was us at pairings with Norway, which was super cool. The guy there in the center of the picture, Javier, or Pitulin as they call him, was my roommate. He's like a year older than me, and so he's the oldest guy on the team. So I jokingly like named him Abuelo on Friday. And so then he would make fun of me and go, he'd call me his kid. So like I'd be like, "Hello, Abuelo." He goes, "Hello, my kid." And then but it's like it was funny. He was great. He was
Javier was a gem. I did get to know him a bit too. He was a lovely guy.
Dude, one of the best was, okay, so we're both old dudes. We're both sore, at the end of the day. I told him before we got in bed, like, we're in the room. He's like in bed beside me. I told him before we went to bed, I was like, "Hey man, if you need anything, I've got some I got some of that good ibuprofen from Canada with the muscle relaxers in it. Robax or whatever it's called.
That's
And
that good
so
stuff.
it's like, okay. And so, I fall asleep and I wake up to being shook. And he's like, Noah, my legs, they hurt so bad. And so he like got woke up in the middle of the night by his legs hurting. And so every night after that, we would basically both just like crack one of the ibuprofen in half and each take half and just like pass out.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
Robax was in my arsenal too, and it is necessary on especially if it's all concrete like it was.
it was a
So
very much an old man room. It was very nice. There's Domo. After he, right when he was about to get wad,
yeah,
um, Domo did win
Mm.
that match. He did repulse the Wah. I'm not going to talk a lot about games in this one, but I will say I want to talk about like there's like a thing where like I needed to not get blown out. This is against Latvia, right? And I'm playing Cas Knights in Orcs, and I needed to like not have him score very well. Um, so like what I ended up doing because we were on ITC terrain is I ended up putting basically like he was running kill rigs, right? And so for the first like 3 turns, I basically just stayed on my side of the board, but I put nurglings directly in the pathways between each of the like ruins, like the main avenues of approach. And at one point, I he had like a 10-inch charge uh, set up into a unit, and that I didn't want him to charge into, and I rapid ingressed um, Sloppity Bile Piper 9.1 inches away
Oh.
between the wall, the door, the thing, so you couldn't get an inch around on either side of him. And he just like came down and just like completely blew out that opportunity and like held that corridor because like it was just great. And so one of my coaches from Team America came over. One of the guys who's coaching with us looked at it and goes, "Nice." Because like he ended up calling the wah at one point where it was like very ineffective, and that was the goal. And then after he called the wah, I just came out and just started punching. Um, but it was really cool. That was also the game where on the very last round I pulled assassinate and overwhelming force, and my rampager who hadn't advanced in charge yet rolled a 6 on his advance, shaded through a building, charged a whole squad of 10 beast boys and a boss, and picked up the entire squad and the boss in combat.
Damn.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was double for overwhelming force and my assassinate. It was very good.
That's a good pull.
Yeah, so that was the wah. This is that beef stew I had in the alley. It was very delicious. I dug Belgian food. There was a lot of kebab which I liked, and then like the native food was also really good.
What's that like stringy stuff on it?
Oh, those were pickled onions,
Mm.
pickled red onion.
Okay.
There's the whole team. Um, Give you a roll call. I think the only person who's not actually in this picture is Sebastian, our coach, who is amazing. But from left to right, we've got Luis, who was our Thousand Sons player. He was one of the players that I think was like most improved over the event. I think he was very nervous in his beginning rounds. Um, he quickly like fell. He's a very good player. He fell into this like comfort in his position and what he was supposed to be doing by like in the second round, and by the third round he was just like taking heads, like just thousand sunning the shit out of everybody, and it was really really good. He was very confident in his estimates. He was one of those players who just like found his groove
Yeah,
after 2 rounds, and he just stayed there for the rest of the event, which was amazing.
it's where you want
um
your Thousand Sons player is in the
the
groove.
two players beside it didn't actually get to talk to. They weren't really players. They were coaches who had played to support the team and played in War Masters. And then the guy there in the front with the backwards cap, um, that is Julio or Peck, as he was called a couple times. Apparently, the word for, I'm going to butcher it, the word for the chicken breast is pachunga. And when he was little, he was a gymnast, and he like developed pretty like well pronounced like pectoral muscles because he was like working out really hard. And so they started calling him Peck, like, but because he had pecs. Super cool
I'm
dude.
in.
I loved his vibe. He was always wearing like a pink beanie, and he was like rolling around on a motorized scooter, and he always had like some like
What?
really good like '80s tunes like bumping all the time. He was always in a positive mood. He was playing Tao. He got thrown on some fucking grenades, and he just ate that shit full of shit with a smile the whole time. He was so good. His energy was really great.
That's
How
funny. Our Tau player had like extremely good vibes the entire time too. Maybe it's a Tau player thing.
did he bring a scooter with him?
No,
No,
there's
you could
electric
rent them, which
scooters
I
that you
would
could rent.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
half of Team
Oh.
Canada was riding them, and honestly, I have not seen adult men giggling with glee the same way that I have when these motherfuckers got on the scooters. It was really adorable.
Um, Next up, beside Julio, is Abraham. Abraham um, was our Black Templar player. He was also, I think, he was the player that was probably like most improved, like where Luis like fell into his vibe and like found his vibe, and like figured out what his role was. I think, and he, I think like took to it fast and messed up. I think Abraham learned, like, really took some lessons away from the event, anyway, because like so early on, he's used to being a very good player and kicking butt in his region. He got thrown into Austria and stuff, and like took some hard losses. Then we got him into, in round two, we got him into Alex Taus, who's an amazing melee player, world leaders player for New Zealand. And on stream, he pulled an 11-9 against Alex, which was like a
Wow.
big deal. Like he definitely played to his nine, like played to every out, like definitely kicked butt. And he came out on a real strong hype vibe off of that, right? But I think maybe like a little too much, and he kind of got hit with the pride hammer a little bit going into like the next round, and he leveled out. And once he had leveled out, he just like he was our anti melee player, and he would just took every melee list apart. The only melee list that really got him was a Black Templar list that was more mobile than he was, but he really fell into his role and got it. And I think he had a really like good like both like simultaneously like like really good like run of like really effective play. Next up beside him was Damien. Damien is Sebastian's brother. Damien is like quiet, really funny, and super chill, and plays a really meticulous Eldar game. He was really good at it. He was also very conservative with all his estimates, and like basically like there was one estimate he was a little over on, and then everything else he was very conservative and right on, and he did really well. Then beside him was Javier. We gotta talk about Javier. And then the guy I got my arm all around is Beto. He's like almost could be my brother. Beto was our AdMech player. He was one of those players that like was really like nervous in the beginning. He got thrown into Kevin Zollinger from Austria, who's like one of probably the better players in all of Europe, and he just got annihilated round one, and he did not let that crush him. He like just came back, and like he was really positive. He did the best he could with AdMech is going through the rounds, and he actually became a really great anchor player as the event went on. And he became really in tune to like exactly what he could and what other players would be able to achieve in their games, and he ended up becoming a really good like voice of reason during the pairings. That like brings me to like the coolest thing about all this was watching all of these guys grow, like having never experienced a team event. This is their first team event ever, like experience a team event and grow into their roles and then come out of that event so excited for next year. Awesome. What we got next? That was our Mexico flag with Domo. There's me rocking the jersey. That's the team talking to Seth right after our first win.
I did appreciate Seth and Nathan from Stat Check, like just kind of buzzing around the hall as a coach. It gave me someone to chat with that like when I was like stressing out in the middle of a round, and I didn't want to talk to like my fellow coaches because we were all stressed about it. And like Seth would swing by or Nathan would swing by, and they're like, "How's it going?" And I'd be like, "Talk to me about anything but this round."
Seth saved my butt. I was really, really thirsty. And I was like, dude, I need like a huge bottle of water. And he apparently had just like an extra bottle, like one of these giant bottles. It comes back with like, I don't know, what in the US is probably like more than a gallon of water. And I literally killed the whole thing in my round, and then I just peed for like ever.
What a guy.
That's awesome.
There's just me being a dork, walking around in Mechelen. Again, being a dork. There were some cool like buildings, and I really liked that, like a lot of pride stuff in Mechelen. And so I took some of that pictures. There's an old dude carved on a wall. There's a lot of those.
Old dude.
Yeah, there's a Cathedral Square, like table set out for people eating in that square, and then the Cathedral Tower.
I had to talk I'm not even going to say what country this person was from, but I definitely had to talk a WTC related person from trying to climb that drunk. They listened, so they're still alive. But
this is us having our first official team meeting in person, discussing our round one pairings. There's me and Seth. Like we were just randomly in the same cafe, and so we had a cuddle, and there we go. So like I would like real quick, like obviously, WTC I think is one of those things that's like impossible to summarize, to like capture what it is in like a single episode, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Like there was so much there, like the aspect of playing on teams, the social aspects of interacting with people, the like individual stuff in games and how differently that kind of play is. WTC terrain.
The nuance of coaching, being a coach, and having like the macro round in mind, but having no control over each individual match that was a ride. Let me tell you.
Oh,
it was a hell of a drive,
I know.
But my God, like I was itching. Like I am currently like just itching to play Warhammer right now.
Yeah, dude, I'm there too. After this week, we have a family party this weekend, and then next week I return to punching people with dollies. That's I return to that next week. But like, I think we have like a couple episodes worth of content. We probably will do some episodes on our off weeks at least this next week, because I think we have like a lot to talk about as far as like from everything from like the sportsmanship, player aspects. Dude, the whole idea of like being the player who gets thrown on the grenade. I got thrown into shit matches that we knew were shit matches that I had estimated like a 4 on my first 3 rounds. And so like I played against Thousand Suns, Blood Angels, and Anti-Vehicle Eldar my first 3 rounds.
Yikes.
The team did consistently better each round, right? Like we did really badly against Austria. We did much better into New Zealand, and we tied Israel, right? But like there is something to be said about like reframing your mentality that like scoring what you said you were going to score is more important than actually scoring well.
Yeah.
Right.
It is definitely a really different perspective on the actual game of Warhammer. Like really cool.
Yeah.
I get why people are like, oh, this is not where I'm at, but I get why people are like, oh, singles events? What do you mean? Like, I'm teams all the way. And I'd had some experience playing teams, and I have loved teams Warhammer, but candidly, like I have a role to play when I'm playing with Art of War, but it's not I'm not that involved in a lot of the macro strategy, etc. So this was a really cool, different perspective for me, and like I have a lot of room to grow in what I can offer the team, and the team has a lot of room to grow, and it's just like It's exciting. I am so all in every aspect of supporting my national team now, and it's hard to put into words, let alone 1 hour long episode. So yeah, I definitely agree. We will be back next week and do a bonus episode, kind of going through I think some of the more nitty gritty details.
And we also have once list lock is out, the three of us are all on the same team for Champs Cup. So we will have some stuff to talk about in the lead up to Champs Cup as well.
What is list lock for that?
The 30th. So next week.
Alrighty.
So our
My
next
birthday.
real episode would be like our next on week would be post list lock. And we
Okay.
probably have all the list out stuff. We might even have our first round pairings by then because I think Nathan is trying to run it like WTC.
That'd be cool.
What about you, Joe? You've been quiet for a little bit. How are you taking it on it all in? How do you feel about it?
Seems like it's awesome. That'd be a dream of mine to participate someday.
Well, Dreamer, couple things is there is the opportunity to support other teams and go as a mercenary.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
help
what I was
teams who are-
referring to. I don't think I have any hope of being on Team USA, obviously. But
I mean, they have what's called academy players. So as long as if you can crack the top 100 for ELO, you can apply. And if you and they take a certain number each year, and the goal is to build a community and build players nationally. And they also try to represent regions. So it's not out of the question. You can make that a goal. You gotta put work in. And I'm putting together my application for this year for Team USA. And one thing that I'm excited to put on that is that I went with Team Mexico to WTC, right?
mm-hmm.
So, worst case, though, you can just come out with us and go to War Masters.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly, I think they're because I applied as a player and I made it onto the team. I just didn't make it onto the starting 8. There was a moment of ego where I was like, do I throw my hat in the ring for being a coach or do I not? And I, the ego brain was like, don't do it, player, all in or bust. But I didn't listen to that voice. And holy shit, I'm glad I didn't, because it was such a good experience. And I heard people joke about oh, well, you get to be the water boy. And yeah, that is actually part of your job, because if you don't, everyone's going to die from dehydration, because that venue is wild. But the reality of it is I think, no, I can 100% say that coaching made me a better teams player. I will 100%, because I know what the coach or the captain needs from me in terms of communication, in terms of deliverables, if you will, as a player. So if anyone out there wants to get involved with either their own country's team or merking for another country, there is no shame in going as a coach. And I think you learn a lot doing that. And I'm really glad that my first year at WTC was as a coach, because I think if I go back as a player, I will be that much more prepared. And yeah, just such a cool experience.
Yeah, dude. On that note, if anybody who's listening wants to coach, or if any of y'all know anybody who wants to coach, we actually don't have any coaches for Team Majors for Champs Cup. And I was thinking about how it will actually it will drastically improve the experience if we have even a single dedicated coach who isn't a player. So if any of y'all know someone who wants to come hang out with us, let us know.
Awesome.
Cass, if Mr. Nicholas James wants to come out, He's more than invited to come.
I will pass along the message.
All right, cool. All right, well, I think that's it for this time. Love you guys.
Much
See ya.
love.
Have a good night.
All right, catch you later.
Ciao.
Bye.